Hey guys, Tonic here. Today in this video, I would like to give a pretty quick review of the brand new Fallout Worlds update, as well as a few of my thoughts and suggestions that I think could really help Fallout Worlds in the future. Let's get into it. So first off, I want to say that I actually really do like Fallout Worlds. I've been having a ton of fun with this update. I'm a huge person for survival mode when it comes to Fallout games. I love the Fallout 4 survival mode. The hardcore mode in New Vegas is phenomenal, and for Fallout 3, we really don't have much of a hardcore or survival mode, but that's what mods are for, and it is a ton of fun to do. So when it comes to this brand new Fallout 76 update, that's kind of what I did. I turned my game into a hardcore survival version of Fallout 76. There is no fast traveling, the damage dealt is extremely high, the damage received is even higher, so one shot from a Scorch from like 10 yards away is going to kill you even if you are pretty close to full health, and it has just been so much fun replaying the game like this, just doing all these quests. You feel so much more immersed. Every firefight that you get into just feels that much more immersive. You really have to think about the situation, and when it comes to the no fast traveling, even you kind of have to plan out your routes to find a safe route to go and get from settlement to settlement, from quest line to quest line. It has just been really cool to do, and I've been having an absolute blast doing it. However, even though I am having a ton of fun playing the survival difficulties, I still find myself going back to the adventure mode and playing that 10 times more than on my private server. The main reason for this is just because there's no progression. As it currently stands with these custom worlds, you play as a copy of your main character, and any XP that you gain or items that you get do not carry over. So while talking about player progression, it is a bit of a tricky topic when it comes to these custom worlds, because you can make the game 10 times harder and just much more difficult in general, but at the same time, you can also go and make the game 10 times easier and just go around one-shotting everything like I'm doing right here. So in theory, if there was player progression and everything that you did on these servers was able to carry over, I could just go around West Tech one-shotting everything. I could go up to a workbench and have free workbench crafting on and just craft a ton of legendaries, bring all that stuff back to the normal servers, just completely rank up my scoreboard in a day. I could just craft a ton of legendaries, flood the market with a ton of god rolls, and it would be absolutely devastating to the state of the game. So the line that you have to draw when it comes to the player progression issue is very tough. However, I do think that I have come up with a little bit of a solution. Now, by no means am I a game developer, but I do like to play games, and after a little bit of thinking, I think I've came up with a system that could please everybody. Now, the thing that I would love to see brought into the Fallout Worlds experience in the future that I think would really make players engage with this system a lot more would be customizable player progression. And this might be a bit confusing because I'm going to try and put my thoughts into words as I go, but I'm going to try my hardest to make this make sense. So here we have a brand new world, and if I go over to the world settings, all of this is default settings, so this is the exact same world as your normal adventure mode. And if I were to start this up and play on it, I think my XP and progression should be carried over the exact same, just because it's the exact same type of world. However, I think that should change when I start to switch these settings. So what I would love to see is all these different options here having an effect on your XP gain. So for example, difficulty. If I were to boost this up to hard, maybe I could get a plus 10% XP gain, very hard another plus 10%, and nuclear another plus 10%, resulting in a plus 30% XP gain, because you are making the game much harder on yourself. And the opposite could be said if I made it easier. If I made this easier, I could maybe get a minus 10% XP gain, so I could be getting 90% XP in total. So still not that bad, but that's just for this one setting. I would like to see that factored in for every single setting. So for example, if I put the difficulty on easy, turned on infinite ammo, maybe boosted up my damage dealt and my damage received or lowered it, I would like to see, if I were to play on this world, maybe your XP gain cut completely in half. You're still getting something, but not nearly as much as normal, just because you're playing the game on a much easier difficulty. Now the opposite could be said as well if I were to make this very hard. So if I put this up to very hard difficulty, turned up my damage received to nuclear, turned down my damage dealt, and kind of left it at this, I think I should be getting a good amount more XP because I'm playing the game at a much harder difficulty. I think if you had this type of progression for this servers, where the settings that you change actually altered your XP gain, people would actually have a reason to come here, because not only would they be making the game more challenging and fun, but they would also be getting rewarded for it. And if they like to play the game on easier settings just to really experience that storyline without a challenge, they're still getting some type of reward for doing so. So that is just kind of my thoughts as far as the XP gain goes. It should vary based on your settings, but then when it comes to items that you get on these servers, should those carry over as well? I'm really not so sure. I kind of don't think that they should carry over, mainly because of this setting right here, the free workbench crafting. If I were to have this setting on, I could go there and re-roll legendary weapons non-stop at no cost to myself. I could also craft a ton of mole miner pails and try and get all the rare rewards. So I think if I have the free workbench setting on, none of the items that I get on these servers should carry over. However, if I do have this off, it's the same amount of luck as it is on any normal server, and items should be able to carry over. So that is something that I would love to see added into Fallout Worlds in the future, and especially on weekends like this one, where it's a double XP weekend at the time of recording this video, there's really not much of a reason to go on to these Fallout Worlds because most people would rather be grinding out XP during the double XP weekend. But again, I really do like Fallout Worlds. I think that what we have currently is a very strong foundation that they can build upon in the future. In the future, we may be able to get things like a server browser, maybe mod support, maybe even some player progression like we were just talking about. There is so much that they can do with these Fallout Worlds, and the future for them does seem to be pretty bright, so I'm pretty stoked to see what they do with them. I really do like the update as a whole, but I would love to know all of your thoughts about it. For sure, let me know down in the comments below. I like to read them all, and I really like to see other people's ideas as well, but that is pretty much it for this video, so I do want to give a massive thank you to everybody who stopped by and watched, and as always, a massive thank you to all of the channel members: Networkgate, Golty, Indica, Robert Kennard, Wandering Wastelander, Esdeath93, Joshua Graham, Lanthar, Anna Reestes, Fallout McFly, Captain Awesome, Citizen Girl, Chad of Fallout 76 Podcast, Heather Henderson, Yosevated, Patrick Ruda, 23 Icefire, Jay Smith, Argent Deer, Bowser Double Fraying, Ice Cream Manny, Chris Decker, Theodore, Digital Aardvark, Lone Samurai OG, Diathan Gaming, Christy Mellon Schwitz. You guys are amazing. I love you guys, and have a great day.